See, this is the problem with these things. Daddy would have gotten us Uzis.
I'm gonna spin you a yarn so wild, you might just want to hold on to them gray boots of yours, cause the tale behind Night of the Comet is just as iconic as the movie itself. Now, if you ain't familiar, this here cult classic is what happens when apocalyptic horror throws on some leg warmers, cranks up the synth wave, and parties like it's 1984. It didn't just shuffle the cards on end-of-the-world flicks, it redealt the whole damn deck with two of the most badass Valley girls to ever strut across the silver screen. But here's a little nugget you might not know. Catherine Mary Stewart, who played Reggie Belmont, didn't just keep some of her costumes. Oh no. She practically lived in them gray boots for years after the shoot wrapped. That's right. Those boots were stomping through post-apocalyptic LA and her real life long after the comet dust settled. And partner, that's just the tip of the big old neon iceberg when it comes to this 80s gem. Now saddle up because we're headed back to 1984 when director Tom Eberhardt decided to drop a comet right on top of Los Angeles and call it cinema. Night of the Comet kicks off with that big old rock streaking across the sky, vaporizing anyone with a front row seat to the celestial show. I'm talking straight up red dust, poof, gone like last night's whiskey. And the ones that didn't get toasted? Well, they ended up as half-baked zombie-fied mutants with all the charm of a rusty bear trap. But wouldn't you know it? Two Valley girls, Regina Reggie Belmont, played by Catherine Mary Stewart, and her Spitfire sister Samantha, played by Kelly Maroney, just happened to be in the right place at the right time. Call it luck, call it plot armor, but those two survived the cosmic barbecue unscathed, and it set them up to become two of the toughest sisters to ever light up a midnight matinee. Now Reggie, she was a movie theater employee with a love for arcade games and a knack for looking unbothered while civilization crumbled around her. Samantha, well, she packed enough sass and firepower to make Rambo blush. Together, they strutted through a deserted LA like it was their own personal playground, dodging zombies, taking on shady government scientists, and looking fabulous while doing it. It's horror, it's comedy, it's pure 80s gold, all wrapped up in shoulder pads and mall hair, but let's back this truck up a bit. Now, here's something that might just blow your hat clean off. Catherine Mary Stewart wasn't originally paired with Kelly Maroney during auditions. Nope, she actually read for her role alongside Heather Langenkamp, you know, Nancy from A Nightmare on Elm Street. But when final casting rolled around, it was Stewart and Maroney who got saddled up together, and from Stewart's own recollection, she was surprised by the match. But when them cameras started rolling, it was magic. Maroney's bubbly, sharp-tongued Samantha bounced off Stewart's cool, unflinching Reggie like they'd been cut from the same neon cloth. That chemistry is what made those two some of the most unforgettable sisters of 80s cinema. And here's the kicker. It wasn't just for show. Stewart says the camaraderie on set was something special. Tom Eberhardt, the man behind the curtain, gave his cast room to breathe, improvise, and just plain old have fun. That iconic scene where Reggie and Sam go wild in the shopping mall to Cyndi Lauper's Girls Just Wanna Have Fun, largely improvised. The carefree, toe-tapping joy of that moment wasn't scripted. It was just two actors having a blast in the apocalypse. And get this, most of the mall scene was shot guerrilla-style. The crew snuck in, got their shots, and hightailed it before security could say, "Y'all got a permit for this?" Now, while we're talking about freedom, let's mosey on over to the wardrobe department. In a twist that ain't too common, Stewart actually got to shop for Reggie's clothes herself. She handpicked the outfits with the wardrobe team right off the rack. And here's the part that'll make you smile. She kept most of it. Them gray boots she stomped around in during the film, she loved them so much she wore them for years after. That's right. While the world moved on, those boots just kept on walking. A little piece of Night of the Comet still kicking around. Now, production wasn't without its quirks. Y'all remember that slick motorcycle scene where Reggie cruises through a deserted LA? Stewart did some of her own stunts, but the bike riding, that was a stunt double. All them close-ups of her riding, shot on a flatbed truck, just cruising along to give the illusion of motion, and that elevator scene with Samantha, where she strolls out feet first, all dramatic like. That wasn't some fancy Hollywood tech. Nope. Production assistants literally pulled 2 screens apart by hand to fake the doors opening. Ain't that something? Sometimes movie magic is just a couple of folks with good timing and strong arms. But not everything was smooth sailing. Sharon Frell, who played Samantha's stepmom Doris, had a backstory tougher than rawhide. Back in 1970, she suffered an embolism that left her with severe brain damage. Hollywood being what it is, she kept it quiet, thanks to none other than Steve McQueen, who told her to keep it under wraps if she wanted to keep working. Frell's resilience was something fierce, just like the spirit of the characters in Night of the Comet. Film itself, groundbreaking, 2 strong female leads holding their own in a genre that usually puts women in the back seat. That wasn't just rare, it was revolutionary. Reggie Belmont wasn't just surviving, she was thriving. And Sam, she showed the world that Valley Girls can handle Mac 10 just fine. Thank you very much. And those Mac 10s, word is, they jammed up more often than a county fair dunk tank. That's why Sam's famous line, "Daddy would have gotten us Uzis," wasn't just a quip, it was practically a cry for help. And would you believe it? This little gem didn't just fade away. It went on to inspire the cheerleader with a shotgun trope. Even Joss Whedon himself tipped his hat to it when he was dreaming up Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Those Belmont sisters didn't just make it through, they became icons. So next time you see a pair of gray boots strutting down the street, just remember, they might have survived the apocalypse once already. Now I gotta ask, what's your favorite moment from Night of the Comet? And if you could snatch up any costume from a movie and keep it forever, which one would it be? Drop it down in the comments, partner. I'm all ears.